This video presentation has been classified by the ABC as M. It contains material that is not recommended for persons under 15 years.
G'day, I'm Will Anderson and welcome to the Gruen Transfer, where we take a scalpel to ads to find out what's inside them. To help us with the task, please welcome four of the industry's most forensic minds. First, our regular panellists from George Patterson Y&R, Russell Howcroft.
Hi, Will.
And from Leo Burnett, Todd Sampson. Making a return to the panel tonight, Cummins Nitro Senior Creative Dee Madigan. And please welcome a Gruen first-timer, Saatchi & Saatchi Head of Strategy, Bram Williams. We'll get down to business in a minute, but first, a bit of fun. A segment we call What's Wrong With This Ad? Here's a recent effort for a well-known dog food that we think has a serious flaw.
When you're laughing, the sun comes smiling through.
80% of dogs have dental problems, so Pedigree's developed specially shaped dental kibble to reduce tartar and keep your dog smiling.
Did you see the teeth on those puppies? Who have they been crossbreeding them with? Larry Emder? What's wrong with that ad, Dee?
I was hoping you weren't going to go to me first.
What's wrong with that ad, Russell?
Well, the ad's about dental problems and none of their teeth look that bad.
They do have good teeth. They have teeth better than most British people I've met. Dee, what's wrong with that ad?
It's just strange. Dogs don't smile. I just think it's weird.
It is a bit weird, Bram.
The problem with that ad is it just makes me think of vile, foul odours when I look at it.
All right. Todd?
Who cares if dogs have dental issues?
There's surely a copyright problem here. You can't make kibble in the shape of the ABC logo and expect us to take it lying down. It's time for How Do You Sell? Tonight, four-wheel drives. With global warming in every news bulletin, you'd think flogging four-wheel drives would be a tricky proposition. But in the last 15 years, sales in this category have gone up 400%. 1 in every 5 cars now sold in Australia is a four-wheel drive. Why are we doing this? Let's look at the ways ads work to convince us, starting with this one.
A 6-speed auto on the all-wheel drive, dynamic stability control, and AccuTrack for car-like handling.
Nice ring. Yep.
Targeting the lucrative butch lesbian mum market.
This is playing on the notion of the car as a bit of a status symbol. So all these mums looking around, and it's also highlighting the major issue in the category, which is its size. So everybody knows there's this anti-four-wheel drive community here, and they're so sensitive about it now that the manufacturers have actually started creating four-wheel drives that look more like cars. Yeah. And in shooting some of the cars, actually, the manufacturers have been known to load bags of cement inside them to lower the suspension, to have them look more like cars than to look like big four-wheel drives. And that ad's touching on that a bit in the size and unwieldy.
It is, and the interesting thing about that ad is the whole message there is you want your four-wheel drive to drive like a car. I've got a pretty simple solution to that. If you want a four-wheel drive that drives like a car, buy a bloody car. It's almost like, you know, for men, getting into a sports car is kind of the midlife crisis choice. And almost the SUV, in a way, has become the kind of midlife crisis choice for women. It kind of, in a sense, represents all the things perhaps that they wish their marriages were but maybe aren't, you know, safe, secure, sturdy, big, you know, those kinds of things.
So you're saying it's a woman's choice, so it shouldn't be fluffy dice hanging from the... It should be her husband's balls.
Yeah, quite possibly.
It's more about selling it as the family car. In effect, it's the station wagon. Yeah. It's this century station wagon. And you can see in those ads there aren't really any four-wheel drive cues in that commercial. All the cues are sedan.
Should they have should they get rid of the blokey names then? Because they're already called bloke. You think like the Territory or the Outlander. Should they have women like names like they should be called the Ford, Pilates or the Toyota. Let's talk about our feelings. Of course, a lot of four-wheel drives never leave the bitumen, but that doesn't mean we can't dream.
The Mitsubishi Outlander has active stability control as standard. Because you never know what's coming.
OK, so that car's half city, half country. Todd, how potent is it for the buyer that they think that one day they'll get the tyres dirty?
Emotionally, what this whole thing plays on is not the dream, it's what the dream represents. It's about fear. Fear of getting old, fear of giving up, fear of not being able to have adventures. It's saying that you don't want to say you've moved on in life, so you get one of these vehicles that can do lots of other things, none of which you're going to do.
You know, the thing that freaked me out the most about that was there was no other cars on any of the roads, so it's obviously pitching to the post-apocalypse market.
The other thing is that when they say, for whatever comes up, but that last road, it's raining, but it's a beautiful flat road that a Corolla could handle. It's not exactly a torture test.
Right, well, many four-wheel drive ads seem interchangeable. The standard shots include climbing up the rocky slope, climbing down the rocky slope, splashing through the creek, and my favourite, driving right up to the edge of the cliff. Come on, who apart from Wile E. Coyote parks at the edge of a cliff? Park 5 metres away and walk, you idiot. D, why do all these ads descend into cliche?
I think it's because they work. Because it says that they brake well, it's this defensive thing. In an emergency, that car will stop.
It's ridiculous, though, isn't it? I mean, these are the same people who can't reverse park in the city. Four-wheel drives are hardly good for the environment. Apart from the damage they do to ecosystems, they have high greenhouse emissions and poor fuel economy. You'd think taking a green advertising angle with them would be impossible, but you'd be wrong. Four-wheel drive they sell, Suzuki makes a donation to programs trying to save the black rhino and, closer to home, the Tasmanian devil. In 18 months, the donation total is up to $70,000. Of course, these four-wheel drives sell at $20,000 and up, so that works out at maybe $100 for every one sold. Russell, will people really think of rhinos when they're buying their four-wheel drive?
This is about trying to differentiate yourself via something, in this case, it's called cause-related marketing. So you get your hands on a bit of CRM and you use that in an attempt to get some people over the line.
The thing about these cause-related marketing activities is, unfortunately, people are still too fickle. So potentially, if they stuck a rhino badge on the back of your car, so when you were driving around you could parade the fact that you were saving a rhino, then people would reward Suzuki for that. But as far as it goes, unless you're giving somebody a green shopping bag when they check out at the supermarket, so they say, hey, look at me, I'm doing the right thing, people really will never ever think of the cause beyond the original purchase.
So as you've already said, Will, all four-wheel drive ads look the same, or a lot look the same. That's what this is trying to do, is actually not look the same. It's a legit effort to differentiate and get a sale.
Yeah, it's greenwashing for me.
It's greenwashing.
It's greenwashing. They're going to give $100 to the rhino. I mean, really.
And I do know a lot of people go into car yards going, does it have tinted windows, does it have air conditioners, and what is it doing for the rhino?
But, Will, one thing this ad does get around, which I think is quite interesting for those that don't make car advertising to see it, one of the big issues we have in creating car advertising is talking about speed and performance. We're not allowed, it's illegal for us to show speed. So we always look at all these different techniques like blurring the background or showing G-force or sound. In this case, because they've taken it off-road, they have the ability to wind around these things at high speeds which you would not be able to do on normal television on normal roads. So in that way, it's very clever.
Let's look at one more ad. This one's for the hardcore.
Beneath the murderous gaze, this ancient stage, life is born again.
You can get it driving your car to the edge of a cliff. Matter of fact, I've got it now. Bram, this is one of your clients. Was that voiceover the only one you tried? Did you consider...
I think, you know, in that particular instance, we needed an iconic masculine Australian voice to deliver that poetry with conviction, and that's what we did.
Who was it? Because he sounded like he had 8 testicles.
Yeah, it's a trade secret. Yeah.
Do you know what I like about that ad? I like what's not in it. Do you know the "Oh, what a feeling"? The jumping in the air, which is meant to be a visual representation of driver satisfaction. We're one of the only markets in the world that actually use that now, and it's a bit of a... Most people are embarrassed, especially agencies. They're quite embarrassed by this sort of... You know. So to try to make the ad less naff, you probably didn't notice, but the jump was in that ad. But the jump was it was done as a shadow on the side. So next time you see that, have a look. It's a brilliant minimising. Oh, what a feeling! It's clever, you know, the way they got rid of it.
One of the key audiences for car ads is the dealers, and the dealers love car ads like this because everything about a car, if you can have from the ground up, as if you like the underlying idea behind a car ad, or in this case a four-wheel drive ad, you know the dealers are going to love it. And it's really important when you're doing car marketing to get the dealers pumped. It's really important. So I would imagine when Bram presented that to the Toyota dealer group, they would have got very, very excited about this thing that's born from the earth. That to them, to them is heaven.
No offence.
None taken. All I hear so far is praise.
Yeah. But I say no offence because I'm about to change all that. I think that is the biggest load of crap I have ever seen in my life. I mean, what are you trying to do? Like a car, it's emerging from the earth? Like, well, I don't even have to buy one. I can just go and stand in the middle of the desert and wait for them to pop out, you know? OK, the Quantum Market Research Group reported this year that 25% of Australians actively reject the green message. An equal number of Australians, 25%, are seriously committed to saving the planet. Here's what's amazing. The same study found that the people in the greenest category are just as likely to own a four-wheel drive as those who are anti-green. Russell, is it a case of I'd like to help the environment but safety comes first?
If you look at this market, if you look at, say, the family market, people are getting wealthier. Their salaries now net 3 times larger than they were in 1980. Their cars are getting bigger. They do need to shift their family around. They do need cup holders. They do need 3 seats. And it's not as simple as, I'm going to become sustainable overnight, therefore I'm going to trade in my four-wheel drive. I think over time, behaviour will change. As I was saying before, in the States, there's, I think, a 38% drop in four-wheel drive sales right now. So behaviour change is already occurring.
The future of four-wheel drives was revealed in February at the Chicago Auto Show, the Ford Alton F650.
Oh, yeah. Now you're talking.
Apart from the 7.2-litre engine, you get hardwood floors, custom chairs, a 42-speaker sound system, 3 TVs, 4 computer workstations, and a train horn.
No. Right.
Sure, it probably gets 1.5 metres to the litre and has its very own ozone hole. But damn it, you can crash into a rhino and the kids in the back seat won't even know you've stopped. This is the pitch where we dare 2 successful ad agencies to sell the unsellable. The winner receives this mouth-watering gruen trophy, now with 30% more nuts. Tonight we're asking them to revive a once popular household item that now finds itself as fashionable as a crocheted bikini. So, ad experts, make us love the humble plastic bag again. Please welcome, from the brand shop Monty Noble, and from McCann World Group, Brendan Willenberg. OK, Monty, you first. What was the eureka moment for you?
Well, like anything, whenever we get a brief, we go away and do as much research as we can. What we found out very early on that plastic bags may be evil, but the producers of the show are far more evil. A bit of a hard brief. But when we dug deeper, there's things that you can do with a plastic bag that you just can't do with other things. So, like suffocate celebrities. Daryl Summers, Pauline Hanson, the Wiggles would have been good, Wake up, Jeff, come on. But we thought we better get more every day. And if we looked at substituting what everyone does on a regular day with plastic bags, with any other bag, it just wouldn't work. So
well, let's have a look at your ad then.
I miss you, so come back. I miss you, so come back. I miss you, so come back. I'm waiting, so come back. I miss you, so come back. I'm waiting, so come back. I miss you, so come back. I'm waiting, so come back. I miss you, so come back. I'm waiting for you.
Wow, nice job. That's great. That is great. Well done. All right, Brendan, where did you find your gold?
At the pub, as usual. So, yeah, we just did a lot of research, as with any brief we get, and just going through all environmental groups' websites, and the one piece of propaganda, I suppose, they use against plastic bags is that the average plastic bag lasts 1,000 years. And we just thought, shit, this is not a bad thing. If a plastic bag lasts 1,000 years, they must be really well made. So that led to our execution.
Oh, well, let's have a look.
Plastic bags, built to last 1,000 years.
Fantastic. Both absolutely amazing. We'll see what the panel thought. Russell, what do you reckon, mate?
Well, Will, you know I hate splitting these things because I think both those agencies were fantastic. Great job. However, I do like the first one, Monty. The utility of the bag, the functionality of the bag, and then, of course, a good-looking girl at the end. That'll win every time.
Dee, what did you think, mate?
I thought the inside of Built to Last 1,000 Years is great, but thought the creative wasn't as strong as Team One. And what was so good about it was each time you knew what was going to happen and laughed anyway. I thought it was hilarious. So definitely Team One.
Bram?
Yeah, I'd have to go with Monty as well. That's was just a great little insight executed beautifully, and of course you can't really go wrong with poo and spew gags.
I've built a career on it. Todd?
I agree. I think that this is the first time I've imagined a world without plastic bags, and to get you to reconsider like that's really good. So well done, Monty. I'm with one as well.
Yeah, it was both absolutely amazing, but Monty, congratulations. Well done. Thank you. There we go. You get the trophy. A mere 256 plastic bags were melted down to make it. Now to our ad of the week. I have to warn you, what you're about to see is extremely confronting. It's an online ad from the UK featuring actress Emma Thompson, a celebrity endorsement where you know the celebrity ain't doing it for the money.
Elena didn't think anyone would hurt her. Elena trusted everyone.
Maria doesn't trust anyone.
Elena wanted to learn English.
Maria gets beaten if she says no.
Elena worked in a market to support her family.
Maria works for nothing.
Elena wanted to help people and be a nurse.
Maria services up to 40 men a day.
Elena used to cry when her father was cross with her.
Maria doesn't feel anything anymore.
Elena's family thinks she's dead. Help me. I was Elena.
I am Maria.
Help me.
I'm here.
OK, get your breath back. Now, I find it almost impossible to watch. So did YouTube, which restricted access to over 18s. Russell, this is tough stuff. Have they pushed it too far?
This is when advertising can be absolutely at its best. And no, I don't think it's been pushed too far at all. It's been pushed, but no, I don't think there's any such thing as too far when subject matters such as this are taken on.
Todd, it's a powerful story, but also there's obviously a lot of technique here. Do you want to walk us through it?
There's a couple of things used in that piece of communication. First is the close-up shot. Everything is very close to you. It's almost suffocating how close it is. They keep it on her face really, really tight, which gives you that sort of sense of suffocation. The other thing that's really effective is the dominant angle. So it's viewed from the perpetrator, which makes you feel like you're actually part of it, but not obviously in a very bad way, and it's very uncomfortable. But the thing that's most powerful of this entire piece of communication for me are the words used, especially these two words, help me. Just those two words just stop you dead in your tracks. Now, with all that said, I don't think it works.
You don't think it works? Why not?
When we are discussing how much fear or shock or horror to use in a piece of communication, we have to decide how much we're going to put out. And on one hand, if you go too far, you get people paralyzed and they don't do anything. If you do too little, they discount what you've communicated. And in my opinion, I think it's a brilliant piece of film. I think they've pushed it too far. I'm left not knowing what to do. I'm left thinking trafficking's bad, but I'm left completely without anything to do.
I would have thought what this was about was Emma Thompson would have in her Rolodex the people that matter. She'd probably know them personally. I would imagine that she has simply sent them an email. You know, dear Gordon, I'd like you to see my latest movie.
I also wonder about the effectiveness of using someone like Emma Thompson. I'm not sure that 60 seconds is long enough for you to forget it's Emma Thompson and start believing the characters. And that's the danger with using a famous actress in an ad, is it gives you the cut-through, but I'm not sure it communicates what it's supposed to,
but
perhaps,
would people have watched it if it wasn't Emma Thompson?
That's the thing. There is a trade-off with a bit of cut-through.
And they would have got considerable airtime. So, because charities are generally free, donated by TV stations. If you used an actual person, you would have, which is sad, you would have got a lot less time than using Emma Thompson. You would have been, they would have been throwing airtime at you for free with Emma Thompson.
Then she goes on the PR tour. You know, this commercial, it creates... It's like a snowplow. It creates the snowplow, and then she just comes in behind and does the interviews on mainstream TV, where they'll just show... They won't show the whole thing, because, of course, it didn't go on mainstream TV. It was just on YouTube. They'll show an image, and then she has the opportunity to talk about the issue that one would imagine really matters to her, otherwise she wouldn't put herself in that sort of situation.
Clearly, sex trafficking is a subject which Thompson is passionate about, as we've all said. Bram, you can't measure the effectiveness of this ad by product sales. How do you measure if it works or not?
Well, the fact that we're all discussing it on this show is a good indication of how you go about measuring it. It really is about grassroots talkability that it generates and to what extent this piece of communication gets this on the agenda for people who consume it, how much dinner party buzz is generated by it. But it's more to what Russell was saying. It's to what extent does this then elevate this issue up the totem on the political agenda to get the decision makers ultimately talking about this in a way that's unavoidable.
Well, Dee, do agencies make ads like this because it's good for the cause or because it's good for the agency?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Good question. Look, a little bit of both. Advertising agencies make charity ads generally for free or at cost. And because of that, charities generally give the agencies a lot of creative freedom. Usually that results in great ads, you hope. A great ad means the agency can enter it in awards, which rightly or wrongly do matter in the industry, and you can put it on your show reel. But for the client, it means they get a great ad, and the thing with great ads is they work.
OK, maybe we need to lighten the mood. Here's a celebrity ad at the other end of the scale. No moral high ground for Brad Pitt, just arse, and plenty of it.
Yes, it's so nice. Hi, Edwin.
Well, personally, I'm glad the arse didn't have a speaking part, but this is an A-list Hollywood star. Todd, how much would you have to fork out to get Brad Pitt's arse in an ad?
I don't know. For a product placement on Desperate Housewives, it'll cost you for 10 seconds, it'll cost you $400,000. So I would predict that it would cost you $5 million, $3 million to get Brad Pitt's ass on television, at least, at a minimum.
Wow. Advertising is cheap. I mean, if you wanted to write a letter to every person that was interested in buying Edwin jeans, so 50 cents for a stamp, and you've got to write the letter and get the envelope, so let's say it's going to be $1 per person. To actually advertise to them is nothing like that. It's, you know, it's in the sense. His ass would come at quite a price, but everything else about that's pretty cheap.
Although he's a younger ass there, so he would have been cheaper.
Yes, he might have been cheaper. His ass is very expensive now.
As he's got older, yeah.
That sounds like a man who's made inquiries.
I have,
Sadly, that's all we've got time for tonight. Next week on the Gruen Transfer, we'll make child labour legal again, find out if there's anything Ricky Ponting doesn't advertise, and ask whether this ad crosses the line. Please thank our brains trust, Russell, D, Bram and Todd. But wait, there's more. To take us out, another Gruen ad lovingly made by a viewer of this program. If you'd like to make a beer, bank or beauty ad, you can find all the tools you need at our website, abc.net.au/Gruen Transfer. You'll also find a bunch of others to look at, plus everything we've talked about tonight. Before I forget, a recent study has shown why a product priced at $19.99 is more likely to sell than one priced at $20. And it's not just because we're dumb enough to think it's cheaper. Apparently, our subconscious mind distrusts the simplicity of the rounded number. We find the complicated price more believable because it seems like the store has put more thought into getting it right. Sometimes it amazes me we're not extinct. See you next week.